He told me he was a private person, that social media wasn't real life, and what we had was too real for a stupid app. I believed him. I believed him when he didn't repost my story of our coffee cups. I even believed him when he made me delete a candid photo I took. I believed him right up until the night I was scrolling and I found the promposal picture he was tagged in with a girl who wasn't me.
The 3:05 p.m. bell was a starting pistol. I had my backpack zipped and my phone in my hand before the teacher finished talking. My phone buzzed in my palm, a single word from Liam, outside. A smile pulled at my mouth. I rushed down the hall, pushed through the heavy front doors, and the noise of the city hit me. Buses idling, kids yelling, and him, Liam. He was leaning against the brick wall by the gym entrance, hood up, looking down at his phone. He looked up when I got close, and his face relaxed. "Hey, Maya," he said. "Hey." We fell into step, walking the 3 blocks to the city bus stop. We'd been doing this for 2 months. 2 months of him meeting me after my last class, even though he, a senior, got out 20 minutes earlier. The bus arrived with a hiss of its air brakes. We found a seat in the back. The seat smelled like old vinyl and damp backpacks. Liam pulled his phone out, untangled his white earbuds, and passed one to me. He put his in, and I put mine in. It was our routine. The music was quiet, just a soft beat. I leaned my head against the vibrating window, and he leaned his head back, closing his eyes. It was perfect. In these moments, it felt real. We didn't have to talk. We just existed together. We got off at our stop and walked to the grind. It wasn't the best coffee shop, but it was our coffee shop. The air inside was thick with the smell of dark roast beans and steamed milk. "Usual?" he asked. I nodded. I watched him go to the counter. He was tall, and he moved with an easy confidence. "1 caramel latte, extra foam for Maya," I heard him tell the barista. "And a black coffee for me." He knew my order. He always knew. He brought the drinks to our small table in the corner. My mug was a heavy white ceramic. His was a simple black one. We sat, the noise of the shop, the espresso machine screaming, people talking, fading into a low hum. "How was chemistry?" he asked. "Terrible. I think I failed the pop quiz." "You always think you failed, and then you get a B+, he said, taking a sip of his coffee. I laughed because it was true. I felt warm. I felt seen. I looked down at our hands on the table. His long fingers were wrapped around the black mug. My hand was next to it, holding my white one. It was a nice picture. I pulled out my phone. I angled it just right, capturing only our hands, the wood grain table, and the 2 cups. A perfect quiet moment. Click. I opened Instagram. I went to create a new story. I looked at the photo. It felt right. I typed a single word in a simple font. Tuesdays. Then I tapped the mention sticker. I typed his username, Liam West. His name popped up. I dragged the tag over his black mug, small and subtle. I hit share. I put my phone down, face up. I watched Liam's phone. He picked it up a few seconds later. His screen lit up. I saw my own profile picture at the top of his feed, the colored ring around it showing a new story. I held my breath. He tapped it. His eyes flicked over the screen, watching the 5-second photo. I saw his thumb hover near the bottom. He could press Add to your story. It was just one button. He smiled, but it was small, and it didn't reach his eyes. He tapped his screen, exiting the story. He did not repost it. He set his phone face down on the table. "So," he said, leaning forward, "my history teacher is making us do this group project, and it's the worst." He kept talking. I watched his phone, a black, silent rectangle on the table. I watched the story ring around my picture on my phone, knowing he had seen it. He saw it, and he ignored it. The coffee in my mug suddenly felt cold. A few days later, we were walking home. The sun was low, and the light was warm, cutting between the tall city buildings. Liam was telling a story about his basketball coach, and he was actually imitating his voice, which made me laugh. He was mid-laugh, his head tilted back, his eyes crinkling. He looked happy. He looked real. I had my phone in my hand already. I lifted it, quick, and snapped a photo. Click. I looked down at the screen. It was perfect. The warm light hit the side of his face. He was unguarded, genuine. I smiled at the picture. "What?" he asked, his own smile fading as he saw me looking at the phone. "I got a really good picture of you," I said, holding it out for him to see. He leaned in. His whole body tensed. It was so fast, like a light switch flipping. He stared at the picture for a long second, his expression unreadable. Then he gave a short, forced laugh. "I looked bad in that." "What?" "No, you don't. It's great. You look so happy." "My hair is doing that weird thing," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Seriously, it's a terrible photo. Can you just delete it?" The air between us felt heavy. My thumb hovered over the delete icon. Yeah, okay. I pressed the button. The photo vanished. "But it was a good picture, Liam." He started walking again. It was blurry. I fell into step beside him, the silence stretching. I had to say it. My voice was quiet, almost a whisper. "Why don't we ever take pictures?" He sighed, a long, tired sound. He kept his eyes straight ahead. "We just did. It was bad. No, I mean, ever, and you never post me." The words felt heavy and stupid coming out of my mouth. "I tagged you in that story. You saw it." He finally stopped and turned to me. His face was serious, almost strained. "Look, Maya, I'm just a private person. I really don't like putting my whole life out there for everyone to see. It's just not me. But it's just one picture," I said. "It's not your whole life." "My family is weird," he said, his voice dropping. "They follow me, my aunts, my cousins. They get super nosy. They text my mom about everything. It's just a huge drama I don't want to deal with." He reached out and touched my arm. His hand was warm. "Social media isn't real life, Maya. What we have is real. This," he gestured between us, "this is real. That stuff on your phone. It's just noise. It doesn't mean anything." I wanted to believe him. I needed to. I looked at his hand on my arm, then back up at his eyes. He seemed so sincere. "Okay," I said, nodding. "Okay, I get it. You're right," he smiled, a real smile this time. "Good." He squeezed my arm gently and then let go. "Come on, I'll walk you to your door." Later that night, I was in my bed, the room dark except for the bright rectangle of my phone. I couldn't sleep. I was scrolling. I was on his profile. No posts since last month. No new stories. I tapped on his tagged photos. My breath caught. There was a new one. It was from 2 nights ago. A blurry group photo posted by one of his basketball friends. Liam was in the middle, his arm slung over his friend's shoulder, a wide grin on his face. He was tagged. Plain as day, I scrolled down. I saw other girls' photos, selfies. He'd liked them. One from a girl named Sarah, a girl from another school. One from a girl I'd seen in his yearbook. Just likes. Just simple, public taps on a screen. My chest felt tight. The next day, I found my best friend Chloe at her locker before first period. The hallway was loud, full of chatter and slamming metal doors. "I just don't get it," I whispered, leaning against the locker next to hers. "He says he's a private person, but he's in his friends' pictures. He's liking other girls' photos. He just hides me." Chloe finished spinning her combination lock and pulled her locker open. She started pulling out her biology textbook. She didn't look at me. "Maya," she said, her voice flat. "What?" She slammed her locker shut, the sound making me jump. She finally turned to face me. Her eyes were serious. "He's tagged in his friends' posts?" "Yes," I said. "A new one just 2 days ago." "And he likes other girls' pictures?" "Yeah, but that's probably nothing. But he made you delete that picture of him?" I just nodded, looking down at the scuffed floor. Chloe sighed. "If he wanted to, he would." "What does that mean?" "It means," she said, shifting her heavy backpack onto her shoulder, "that if he wanted to post you, he would. If he wanted to be in your pictures, he would. Private person is just what people say when they want an excuse." The late bell rang, loud and piercing. "I have to go," she said, her voice softer now. "Just Be careful, okay? She walked away, disappearing into the crowd. I stood alone by her locker, her words echoing in my head. If he wanted to, he would. The next 2 weeks were loud. Prom season hit the school like a wave. Bright, hand-painted posters covered the lockers. "Will you go to prom with me?" was scrawled on the cafeteria windows. You couldn't walk 10 feet without hearing someone whispering about dresses or limos or after parties, and Liam said nothing. Every day, the anxiety got tighter in my chest. We still met. We still went to the grind. We still shared earbuds on the bus. But the silence about prom was deafening. I tried to make it easy for him. "Chloe is so stressed," I said one afternoon, stirring my coffee. "She's trying to find a dress that matches her date's tie." "It sounds like so much work." Liam just grunted, scrolling through his phone. "Sounds dumb." I tried again. "The theme is Celestial Night. They're hanging all these stars and moons in the gym." "Cool," he said, not looking up. Every time I brought it up, he shut it down. And I saw it happening all around me. I saw a guy in the library with a huge bouquet of roses. I saw a girl scream, "Yes!" in the parking lot as her friends filmed it. And I felt invisible. The deadline to buy tickets was a week away. I couldn't wait any longer. The not knowing was worse than a no. We were at our corner table at the grind. The late afternoon sun was weak, and the shop was mostly empty. The only sound was the hiss of the espresso machine and the quiet music. My heart was beating fast. I put my phone face down on the table. "So," I started. My voice sounded small. "Prom." Liam looked up from his phone. His eyes were neutral. "What about it?" "It's next Saturday." "The tickets. We have to buy them by Friday." He set his phone down, but he kept his hand on it. "Yeah? Are we going?" Liam let out a breath. He leaned back in his chair, that same tired look on his face. "Maya, I don't know. You don't know?" It's a week away, Liam." "It's just a dumb dance," he said, rubbing his eyes. "Seriously, a bunch of people in sweaty suits spending way too much money on one night. It's stupid." My stomach dropped. I tried to keep my voice even. "So, you don't want to go?" "I said I don't know," he snapped. He picked up his phone, his thumb starting to scroll. "I'm not really into that whole thing." "What about us?" I whispered. "I thought we would go together." "It's your senior prom." He looked at me, and his eyes were cold. "It's my prom. And I just said I don't really care about it." "So you're just not going to go?" "I don't know, Maya." "Why are you pushing this?" "Because I want to go with you." The words were louder than I intended. The barista glanced over at us. Liam's face tightened. He stood up fast, the legs of his chair scraping loudly on the floor. He slung his backpack over one shoulder. "I have to go," he said, his voice low and angry. "I have a paper to write." "Liam, wait. I can't deal with this right now." He turned and walked away. I watched him push the glass door open, the little bell above it tinkling. He didn't look back. I sat there, alone at the table. My caramel latte was cold. The extra foam had dissolved into nothing. He hadn't said no. He just left. He left me hanging, stuck between a yes and a no, feeling stupid for even wanting to ask. A week, 7 whole days. I hadn't seen Liam since he walked out of the grind. The silence was heavy. I'd sent him 2 texts. The first one, "Are you home?" sent just hours after the fight. The second, 2 days later, "Can we please talk?" He'd read both. The blue read receipt was there. No reply. I told myself he was busy. He was a senior. He had finals. He had that paper he mentioned. I told myself he was just cooling off after our argument. He'd text me when he was ready. He'd apologize. We'd laugh about it, and then we'd buy the stupid prom tickets. But the silence stretched. It was Friday night, the last day to buy tickets. I knew I wasn't going, not with him. I was in my bed, the covers pulled up to my chin, the rest of my room dark. The only light came from my phone. It was almost midnight. My thumb was tired from scrolling. It was a mindless, automatic motion. Stop, scroll, stop, scroll. I wasn't even looking at anything. I was just waiting, Waiting for his name to light up my screen, I stopped on a photo. It was posted by a girl I barely knew from another school, Ashley King. Her profile was public. The photo was bright, taken on the front steps of her high school. A huge group of kids, maybe 20 of them. They were all holding signs and cheering. The caption was just Prom 2025, with a dozen star emojis. I looked at the happy faces. Just a bunch of seniors, excited about their dance? I almost scrolled past it, but my eye caught something in the background. A flash of a dark blue hoodie. My heart jumped. I double-tapped the screen with my thumb. The photo expanded, filling my phone. I dragged my finger, moving the image, panning past the kids in the front. And there he was. He was in the back row on the far right. It was him. I knew his hair. I knew the way he stood. I knew that blue hoodie. He was smiling. A wide, easy grin. He was holding a sign. It was bright yellow poster board. I zoomed in again, my fingers spreading on the glass. The black marker was sloppy, but I could read the words. Aaron, prom? My breath stopped. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt tight. Aaron, not Maya. I stared at his face. He looked so happy, so excited. All for a girl I had never even heard of. It's just a dumb dance. His voice echoed in my head. I don't know if I'm even going. My hand was shaking. I tapped the photo once, just once. Little black and white boxes popped up over everyone's faces, showing the tags. And there it was. A tag on his smiling face. Liam West. He was tagged. He was in a public photo. He was holding a promposal sign for another girl. Every excuse he'd ever given me. I'm a private person. My family is weird. Social media isn't real life. It all just fell apart. I felt sick. My stomach twisted. The heat rushed to my face. He wasn't private. He just didn't want me. I pressed the side button and the volume up button at the same time. Click. The screen flashed white. The screenshot saved to my photos. I swiped up, closing Instagram. I opened my messages. I found his name, that silent, empty chat. I tapped the photo icon. I selected the screenshot, his smiling face. The yellow sign, the tag. It loaded into the text box. My thumb hovered over the blue send arrow. My thumb hit the blue arrow. The screenshot, with its blue message bubble, slid up the screen. Delivered. I stared at it. 1 second, 2, 3, it changed. The word delivered vanished and was replaced by red. He saw it. He saw his face, the sign, the tag. My phone didn't buzz with a reply. It started to vibrate, a long, angry buzz. His name lit up the screen. Liam West. He was calling me. My hand was shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. I slid my thumb across the green accept icon. I put the cold glass to my ear. I said nothing. I just listened to the silence on the other end. What do you want, Maya? His voice. It wasn't guilty. It wasn't apologetic. It was cold. It was annoyed. Like I had bothered him. My voice was a croak. I cleared my throat. Who is this? A long sigh came through the speaker. Who is who? What are you talking about? The girl, I said, my voice getting stronger, louder. The girl. In the picture. The one you're asking to prom. Aaron. Another beat of silence. I heard a muffled sound like he was covering the phone and talking to someone else. It's just a friend, he said, his voice flat. It's a group thing. It's not a big deal. A group thing? I couldn't believe it. You're holding a sign with her name on it, Liam. You're asking her to prom. So? So you told me you weren't going? You said it was a dumb dance. You said you didn't know if you were going. Yeah, well, I changed my mind. My friends were all going. It's just a thing we did. A thing you... Liam, you're tagged in it. His voice turned sharp. The coldness turned into acid. Why are you stalking me? Are you seriously going through other people's random photos? That's weird, Maya. I flinched. The words hit me hard. I wasn't... It was on my feed. My vision started to blur. The tears came, hot and fast. I didn't care. You lied to me, I whispered. Then louder, you lied to me. You told me you were a private person. You made me delete a picture I took of you. You wouldn't even repost a picture of our coffee cups. Oh my God, he said, his voice full of disgust. But you're in her post. You're smiling. You're tagged. Everyone can see you. You're not private, you didn't want to be seen with me. The truth was out. It hung in the air between us. I was sobbing now, the quiet, ugly kind where you can't catch your breath. You're being crazy, he said. His voice was hard like a stone. You're acting completely insecure. I'm insecure? I yelled. You're the one who... This is exactly why I hate social media, he cut me off. You're making up this huge drama over one stupid picture. I can't deal with this. Liam, don't do this. Just tell me the truth. I just did. It's a group thing. You're overreacting. You're being crazy. Stop calling me crazy. I have to go. I'm busy, he said. Liam, wait. Don't hang up. Click. The call ended. The line went dead. I pulled the phone away from my ear and stared at the screen. It just said, call ended. He was gone. I sat there in the dark, my face wet. I waited for a text, for him to call back, for an apology, nothing. I didn't hear from him Saturday. I didn't hear from him Sunday. The silence was complete. He had abandoned me. He had walked out of the coffee shop, and now he had hung up the phone. He had left me twice with no answers. Just the echo of his voice calling me crazy. 2 weeks, 14 days. The silence was total. Prom night came and went. I saw the pictures. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't stop myself. I sat on my bed, in the dark, and watched the stories. Erin in a long royal blue dress. Liam in a black suit with a tie that matched her exactly. There were group photos at a fancy restaurant with white tablecloths. There were pictures in the back of a black limo. There were blurry videos of them dancing in the gym under the celestial night stars I had told him about. He was tagged in everything. He was smiling in every single picture. He never texted me. He never called me back. He acted as if I had never existed. It became a sick habit. I'd wake up, and the first thing I did was check his profile. I'd check it between classes. I'd check it before I went to sleep. He was right. I was stalking him. I was looking for, I don't even know what, an answer, an apology, a sign that I wasn't crazy. His profile never changed. No new posts. No new stories. Just that same blank gray silhouette for his profile picture. It was Saturday afternoon. I was lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, my phone heavy in my hand. I opened Instagram. My thumb moved without me telling it to. Search. Liam. His name, Liam West, popped up at the top of the list. I tapped it. The profile page began to load. The gray silhouette was there for half a second, and then it was gone. It was replaced. My heart didn't just stop. It felt like it fell. A new photo blinked into place. A bright, clear, new profile picture. It was him. And it was her. Erin. They were outside on a lawn, the grass a bright chemical green. The sun was shining on both of them. She was looking right at the camera, a huge, happy smile on her face. And Liam? Liam was turned toward her. His eyes were closed. He was kissing her on the cheek. I sat up so fast I got dizzy. My hand was ice cold. I stared at the tiny circle, at his public display. He looked happy. He looked proud. My eyes, shaking, dropped from the photo to the bio underneath his name. That short, simple line of text. It used to just say, Senior Hansir BHS Basketball. He had changed that too. It read, Senior Kingsir BHS Basketball, Kingsir EK, can EK Erin, with a red heart emoji. I just stared at it. The picture, the initials, the heart, it was all there. The public post, the declaration, the proof, everything he told me he hated, everything he swore wasn't real life. It was all right there for the entire world to see. He wasn't a private person. He just hadn't wanted to be a person. With me, I was a secret. I was a secret he'd kept, and now I was a secret he was done with. I was nothing. My phone screen was so bright it hurt my eyes. The tiny circle with his face. The tiny red heart in his bio. I felt nothing. The anger was gone. The sadness from the last 2 weeks felt far away. I was just numb, empty. I pressed the side buttons. Click. I took a screenshot. I don't know why. Maybe just to prove to myself that I'd seen it, that it was real. My thumb moved. I swiped out of Instagram. I opened my messages. I found his name, still at the top of my list, even after 2 weeks of silence. The last thing in our chat was the screenshot I had sent him. The one of him at the promposal. Beneath it, the words "call" ended. I tapped the text bar. My fingers typed out the words. They looked small and gray. So you did have a girlfriend. I stared at the sentence. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. I hit send. I locked my phone and set it, face down, on my comforter. I was done. That was it. I didn't expect a reply. I just needed to say it, to let him know that I knew. I stared at the black, blank screen. I was going to get up. I was going to get a glass of water. My phone buzzed. It was so fast, so instant. It made me jump. I picked it up. A new message from Liam. My heart was beating again, a fast, sick thump, thump, thump. I opened it. His message was there. I don't know what you're talking about. I stared. Before I could even process it, 3 dots appeared. He was typing again. A new message slid onto the screen, right below the first one. I don't have a girlfriend. And we were never really together, Maya. We just hung out. We just hung out. I read the words again and again. We just hung out. 2 months. Meeting me after class. Walking me to the bus. Sharing earbuds. The coffee shop. Him knowing my order. Me knowing his. Him making me delete a photo. Him telling me he was a private person. All of it. It wasn't a relationship. It was just hanging out. He didn't just lie. He didn't just hide me. He erased me. He was denying all of it. He was telling me that the last 2 months of my life hadn't even happened. That's when I finally understood. I wasn't crazy. I was just convenient. Until I wasn't, I didn't cry. I didn't feel angry. I just felt tired. I closed the messages. I didn't reply. I would never reply. I opened Instagram one last time. I didn't go to his page. I went to mine. I tapped my profile picture in the bottom corner. My grid of photos appeared. My life. Pictures of me and Chloe. Pictures of my cat. Pictures of the city. My thumb started to scroll down past last week. Down past last month. All the way back. 2 months back, I found it. The picture of our hands and the 2 coffee cups. The heavy white mug. The simple black one. The caption, Tuesdays. My hand was perfectly steady. I tapped the 3 little dots in the top corner of the post. The menu slid up. I tapped the red delete button. A box popped up. Delete post? You can archive this post instead. I didn't want to archive it. I didn't want to save it. I tapped delete. The photo vanished. The square on my grid went blank, and the photos below it shifted up. I scrolled. I found the next one. A blurry photo of the rainy city street taken from the bus window. In the corner, just the back of his head, his hood up. I tapped the 3 dots. I tapped delete. It was gone. I found the last one. A selfie I'd taken at the park. I was smiling. In the very corner of the frame, you could just see the shoulder of his blue hoodie. Delete. I looked at my profile. It was just me now. Me and Chloe, my cat, the city. There was no trace of him. He wasn't a secret here anymore either. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sad. I was just done. I locked my phone. I set it on my nightstand, and I sat there for a long time in the quiet, empty room,